A newly published investigation into the deaths of more than 475 children has sparked calls for an overhaul at DCF.
Already, several measures are advancing through the legislature that could create the changes that child advocates have been demanding for years.
New at 16:6 reporter Christina Hernandez joins us live from Miami Lakes, where Governor Rick Scott just addressed the alarming report. Christina?
That's right, Adam and Jackie. This investigation, 2 years in the making. Governor Rick Scott talking to us about it. And many of these cases where these children die, DCF has already investigated and closed the case. Hundreds of cases have pictures, names, and young ages. This after the Miami Herald investigates the Florida Department of Children and Families. 477 children dead in 6 years. All of them supposed to be under the watchful eye of DCF. At a high school in Miami Lakes, Governor Rick Scott says he wants to hire more investigators.
And we don't want anything to happen to any child in our state. So we're going to add 400 investigators.
But Howard Talenfeld, the president of Florida's Children First, says that's not the biggest problem.
The problem is we have a state statute that says after 60 days the investigation is closed, and so the investigations are closed and there is no follow-up in many cases with respect to services that a family and a child needs to protect the child.
Any changes to the 60-day limit on the investigation and what happens after a case is closed?
Well, we work with the court system and we work with the families to make the best decision possible.
For almost 30 years, Talenfeld has been working as a child advocate, fighting for South Florida kids like Jaden Villegas, who was shaken to death. Brian Osceola, after his mother left him in a hot car. Dontrell Melvin, whose body was found nearly 2 years after he was last seen, but never reported missing. And Nubia Barahona, whose adopted parents allegedly tortured her to death.
477 dead children is appalling. It's unfathomable that before DCF's eyes, this many children died where there were red flags, indicators that these children were at future risk.
DCF Interim Secretary Esther Jacobo is quoted on the website saying, DCF knows these names. These cases have been closely studied in our continuous efforts to improve child protection practices. To this, Talenfeld says one thing, one number, 477. And besides hiring more investigators, DCF is making many more changes. For more on that, log on to our website, NBC6.com. Live in Miami Lakes, Christina Hernandez, NBC6 South Florida.